Hello to all my paintball family out there. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Play the Game podcast. Today we have a really special episode for you guys. We're breaking down mentality, not just mentality on the paintball field, but also off the paintball field. Marcello and I really dig into this, and I think we're going to have a lot of valuable bits for you guys to pick up on this. We're going into what it takes to have the mentality for your paintball team, and also to attack life and really just make the most out of life. So without further ado, let's get into this. Thank you so much for joining us. Here we go.
That was an insane inside move by Marcello Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. Though Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcello Margot was on fire.
Hey, buddy. Good to see you again. Hello, everybody out there. We are diving in here. We got today we're going over mentality and the obvious benefits of carrying a strong mentality through your everyday life and on the paintball field, of course. One of the biggest things that I personally think in regards to mentality and everyday life and on the paintball field is you got to approach the day with a lot of passion. And I know you feel the same way, Marcello. Everything you do is very passionate. And that passion, when you wake up in the morning, is going to carry you through the day and carry you through all the crazy moments, especially in these times, and the ups and downs of life. I know you could probably add to that as well.
Yeah, Ty, I think it's a great idea. When you told me you wanted to discuss mentality with the viewers, I couldn't have agreed more, especially going through these times right now where, much of the world is going through very trying times and a section that is really challenging, and it's a space that nobody has navigated through before, and mentality could not be more important than it is right now in a time like this. And you're right, it absolutely transcends onto the paintball field. It's all fluid. Your mentality runs through you. It's in your everyday decision. When you wake up in the morning, how you start your day, how you go about being motivated throughout the day, how you decide to tackle your goals, how you decide to move forward and face adversity. All of those things tie into your mentality. It is the core fundamental building block of what creates success or failure, actually, for that matter. It is
Absolutely.
Your mentality. So I think this is a very important piece. I think it's a very important idea to discuss with people. And it's something, that I've admired about you as long as I've known you. Your infectious passion for the game and for the people around you, the people you love, the way you approach every single day. If it's a workout, if it's being a father, if it's being a husband, whatever it is, you've always just pursued it with such passion and determination to be the best at it, and to not just be the best at it, but really make the people around you feel that. And you've done it better than anybody I know. And
Well, thanks,
I
man.
think
My heart's invested, dude. I'm really invested in the people, and that's my driving force, my driving motivation. Shout out to Force Field 1. Let's go.
yeah, but you know what? You're also invested in yourself, because that's really where it comes from. I know for me, for sure, it's like I'm invested in myself, and that helps
Totally.
generate these positive mentalities, positive mindset, and this overall way of thinking. Because again, it's an overall way of thinking. It's not just, are you going to step onto the field and try to have a killer mentality, or are you just going to be positive throughout the day? It truly is an overall way of thinking. And there's actually a good a quote, and it's about optimism. Optimism isn't about always thinking that everything is going to be perfect. That's not what it's about. It's about understanding that you're going to probably go through some tough times, but
Absolutely.
knowing that things are going to get better. That's what optimism is. It's knowing that you're going to be able to, it's so funny for the viewers that aren't watching the YouTube channel. Tyler has joined us from the woods. He's in the
Social
nature right
distancing
now.
out here.
Yeah. He's got the flower of life behind him with
Yeah.
a nice green scenery. But
Yeah. Yeah, for the
it's
YouTubers, I'll have a new Flower of Life whole get up on every show, so be sure to tune in there.
I love it. I need to upgrade my computer so I can get to that level. But really, it's about knowing that you're going to get out of the woods no matter what situation you're in. And
Totally.
I'll just kind of jump into it, Ty. for me, it started from a really young age. My dad always, he was much older. My dad passed away in November, and not
Shout
to
out to
keep bringing that
Pops.
up, but just, life
Yeah,
happens. But he was 80 years old. He lived a great life.
he
He
did.
lived an
Beautiful
amazing
life.
life. He did it all. He really did. Had 8 kids. All of us are
Wow.
extremely close, all
Yeah,
ages. My oldest sibling is my older sister. I believe she's 59 years old, and my
beautiful.
youngest sister is 19 years old. So my dad has
Wow.
really had a wide range of his seeds being planted,
Yeah,
and
he's having fun,
yeah,
baby.
totally
He's
having
playing the
fun. But
game. That's
he's
playing the
playing the
game at the
game. He's
finest right there.
Absolutely. He's been playing the game forever. Um, but one of the biggest things that he has instilled in me from a young age, and even all of my friends that would, growing up, they would always come around, and Papa T was someone for them to look up to, and it was because he
Yeah,
just had this infectious personality where as soon as you were around him, you immediately would feel good about yourself because he just knew how to do that. He knew how to bring out the best in you. And it wasn't from manipulation or anything like that. It was just from pure joy that he would truly go through every single day with.
yeah,
And anytime I would face him or bring a problem that I was facing to him, and it was often things that, at a young age, I thought were, devastating to my
hmm
life. He would just have such a graceful way of saying, "Hey, look, what can you do? All
yeah,
right, shake it off and
yeah,
let's figure out a way to get through this, because all you
absolutely,
can do is overcome it. Otherwise, it's going to eat you alive. So what are you going to do?
totally. Yeah, and
And
that's really the key, man, is
yeah,
like you're saying, sometimes it's a struggle to get out of the woods, but on the flip side of the coin, sometimes you're going to learn a lot by going through the woods, and those tough times are going to mold you and change you and create the ultimate you that you can be. And like you said, it's an opportunity to rise or, to go the other direction, but it's all an opportunity, and that's how you have to take your mentality and choose to use it and mold it to benefit you in every situation.
yeah, it is 100% because look, there's true hardships out there. There's true devastation. There's tragedy. There's things that
Unbelievable
um,
stuff going on.
it's pretty unbelievable and really hard to overcome. And it's not just a blanket statement that you
Yeah.
should be able to overcome anything that comes your way. Look, I think
No,
I
it's
think grief and struggle, all
yeah,
of that stuff is a major part of the process. It's incredibly important to the process. But
yeah,
again, the mindset, and this is why we wanted to do an entire episode on this because we could really dive into this. But we're going to, but
totally.
mindset is just the understanding and the ability to navigate through those scenarios, because we're all going to face
hmm
tough times. It's going to happen. It's part of life. You're going to lose a parent. You're going to lose maybe a best friend. You might lose a spouse. You might lose a son, a daughter. You're going to be faced with adversity in life, and that's just the name of the game. It's the way things go. And you're not in control of much of it. There's
Yeah.
certain decisions you can make to try to mitigate those situations and try to minimize your chances of having this stuff happen to you. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to beat uh, the system. You're not gonna be able to beat
No.
life. Like if an accident's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. If cancer happens, it's gonna happen. The only thing that you can control 100% of the time is your mindset. How you approach the situation, how you deal with what happens to you. That's the only thing that you're in control of.
And what you
Um,
choose to get attached to. It's your choice to choose to attach to these things, and you can
totally.
I mean, wise people that I've talked to preach to me about detachment. And once you detach from holding on with your mind to so many things and, you know, give thanks for every moment, good, bad, ugly, you can't see the full picture, unfortunately. We have these little brains and these skulls, and they just don't have the capacity to see everything. And they're very powerful, don't get me wrong, but there's a big play going on, and we can't always see every aspect of the play. So just have trust in the process and let go. Letting go is the one of the most beneficial things you can do, and that translates onto the paintball field too. When you let go of all this clutter in your mind and all these equations you're trying to crush, and the coach said this, my player said this, just let it go and play the game. Play paintball, have fun, be in the moment, and you're going to succeed. That's the key to success right there.
Yeah, no, Ty, it really is. And it's something so important for people to understand really about that. What you said, letting go of your emotional attachment to things that happen.
Yeah,
Again, it's so important to recognize true hardship. It's important to recognize why something's hurting you, why what you're going through makes you feel like you're struggling. But you then have to make a decision, and you have to make the decision like, okay, I'm going to overcome this.
absolutely.
What is the course of action that I need to take so that I can put myself in position to beat this, whatever this
Hmm.
adversity is? Is it an injury? Is it a breakup? Is it a loss of a loved one? What is it? Okay, what's my course of action? How am I going to overcome this? Because at the end of the day, that's all you can do. That's what you're in control of. You're in
Hmm.
control of how you deal with these situations. And you're absolutely
Yeah,
right. It translates to the paintball field. These
totally.
mentalities. And look, I'm gonna throw Oliver into this. I was gonna say it in the beginning, but growing up, my dad had always instilled that type of mindset with me. And then from a very young age, when I was 15 years old, is when I first turned pro.
Yeah.
Uh, I joined the Ironmen, and Oliver had just signed his deal with the Ironmen.
Hmm.
And for those of you listening, Oliver Lang
Huge
is one of the
times.
most huge times, and
Yeah,
Oliver Lang is one of the most spiritual and happy and
yeah,
best people. Forget who he is on the paintball field. He's one of the best people that you're going to come across.
hands
And I
down.
think the reason he had so much success in the game was because of his mindset and his ability to share that infectious positivity with the
Yeah,
people around him. He made the players around him better, right? And so that kind of mindset, it translates to the paintball field because paintball is a game of constant adversity.
oh yeah.
Look at the best games in the history of the sport. Look at
Yeah,
the Russian Legion comeback against Impact last year,
that
Texas.
was crazy.
Insane. It
I
was
remember being on the sidelines and just shaking my head like, what did I just see?
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
playing in that split deck. So we were
yeah,
watching like the glimpse of it. And I remember our game against AC Dallas had just ended. And I think the score was 5-1 with like 2.5 minutes to go in
yeah.
favor of Impact. And everybody was like, oh, this game's over. I know we were in the pit. We were like, yeah, this game's over. And then all of a sudden the Russians start rallying off this crazy comeback. That's mentality.
Strongest mentality.
If you don't believe that that's mentality, then you truly don't understand the importance of the right mindset. It's preached in all sports. If you go back and you can read, Phil Jackson wrote an amazing book called 11 Rings. Phil
Okay.
Jackson, for those of you that don't know, he was the coach. He won 2 championships as a player with the New York Knicks. He won 6 championships as a coach of Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls, and then he won 5 championships as the coach of the Lakers
Damn.
with Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. So this guy has
Yeah,
been in it, right? And he just preaches nonstop mindset and the importance of mindset. And in sports, mindset's everything because you have to have the belief in yourself that you're going to be able to go out and execute. You have to have the belief in the people around you. You have to be able to bring the best out of the people around you if you want to succeed as a group. And it's
that's
so
right.
funny. We always talk about how paintball relates back to real life. This is, again, true and true. We're talking about mindset here. Your mindset in the game relates to real life. And I think that's one of the greatest things that paintball has given me. It's really given me the confidence to approach my day to day adversities with
Totally.
a I'm going to overcome you mentality no matter what. I don't care if I'm down 5 points. I don't care if I'm down 6 points. As long as the game's not over and there's time on the clock, we can come back and try to win this thing. We can put ourselves in better position.
Yeah.
Um,
Even
you
when you're
know,
up, even when you're up, having that sharp mentality,
yeah,
when
that's a
things
great
are
point
going
too.
good, staying hungry, it doesn't matter what the score is, keeping that sharp mentality is everything. Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, I agree. That's a good point too. When you're up, I mean, that's something you see so often with teams. You
Yeah,
get up on a bunch of points and something shifts in the mentality,
totally.
something shifts, like you get a little comfortable. You stop doing the little things that got you to that point, and
Yeah,
and a team can come back on you, because again, you stop doing little things that were working for you,
yeah.
and you can let a lead slip away. But that's the same thing in real life. If you work really hard to get somewhere, you have to
Hmm.
continue to work hard. You have to
Harder.
continue. Yeah, you got to work harder
Yeah,
to continue to raise the bar. But mentality is such an important thing that can change your life. It can change not just your accomplishments and the things that you gain, maybe monetarily or spiritually, but it's just going to make you feel better about yourself. It's going to make you live a happier. So I guess that does go in line with spirituality, but it's going to
Yeah.
make you live a better life. I wake up and truly try to find the good in just about everything. If I go to
Hmm.
the grocery store and I have somebody
Yeah.
that is
Smile.
that
Enjoy it.
totally, totally, like if I come across somebody that's pissed off,
Yeah.
or maybe I don't know they're pissed off, but they're rude, right? This happens often, actually. Whether it's a if it's
That's the best.
it's the best
Those are the
because
best.
I sit back and I go, man, they who knows, they could have had a
There's a
terrible
lot of real
morning.
stuff going on. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of real stuff going on. Like
Yeah.
maybe their father just passed away. Maybe their girlfriend, he just caught his girlfriend cheating on him, or vice versa. She
Hmm.
just caught her boyfriend cheating on her. Who knows?
A
Like
myriad of things. Yeah.
people are dealing with stuff on a daily basis. So when I come across somebody who gives me a negative interaction, my first instinct is not to react in a negative way. It's not to say, "Oh, screw you. Who are
Yeah.
you? Like you're a
Have
jerk." It's
empathy,
actually
right? Yeah.
that's the word I was about to say exactly, Ty. It's empathy. It's rather I wonder what is causing you to feel this way. And that mindset has completely changed. That kind of stuff doesn't
Yeah.
affect me anymore, like people can't
Yeah.
get under my skin. People can't
It's
bother me
powerful.
because I have a bigger understanding of, look, people are going to be upset. Sometimes I'm not the nicest to people, like there's been
That's
times
the
where I've
beauty.
been there's been times where I get caught off guard and I afterwards, like, 30 seconds later I go, "Man, that wasn't a great response,"
Yeah.
And
And it's all we're human. We're all human. We're all going through this and trying to navigate as best as we can. And, emotions are very real and they're very powerful. And sometimes you can't explain why you feel a certain way. And it's valid to feel that way too. All these feelings, they're valid. It's just you don't want to get trapped in that kind of a mindset and then be stuck in that type of a way for too long. Try to watch yourself having these interactions with yourself and be an observer of your thoughts, and then you'll be able to say, why am I choosing to act this way or that way in this certain position. And it really gives you a good outlook on everything, and you're able to kind of navigate things a little bit easier that way when you're kind of viewing it from outside you know um
yeah, I couldn't agree more. That third party perspective is so important because, again, when you
yeah.
try to detach your emotions and you look at things objectively and you sit back and you
Hmm.
say, "Wow, was that reaction because maybe something hurt my ego, or was it actually
Hmm.
valid?
Totally.
Should
Yeah.
I have reacted that way or not?" It changes the way your perspective works. It changes
Yeah.
the way you look at things because your emotion and your ego is no longer attached to it. So you can say,
Hmm.
yeah, you know what? I made the mistake there and I need to own up to it so I can better myself as a person.
Totally.
I did
Yeah.
something that maybe hurt somebody or was not the right approach to a situation, or I was
Yeah.
disrespectful to someone's beliefs, whatever it could be. And it's the
Hmm.
same thing. Again, it translates directly to the paintball field. And you see this
Hmm.
so
Oh
often.
yeah.
I was gonna say in
It's crazy.
divisional paintball, but definitely
It's
in the
everywhere.
pros as
Yeah.
well. It's everywhere.
Yeah. And that's
Like
life.
some
That's
it's life, but like somebody makes a big mistake on the field, and then a teammate says, "Hey, why didn't you do this? Why weren't you
Yeah.
looking that way? You
Yeah.
let him bunker me." And that, to the person, immediately they feel
Attacked.
attacked. They feel attacked. They feel like, "Oh my God, you're attacking me as a human."
Yeah.
And I need to now
And then
respond.
it
And so
implodes.
then it
It
implodes. Then it goes to,
Yeah.
"Well, you weren't listening to me.
Yeah.
I was trying to tell you he was there." And it becomes an argument,
Yeah.
and then it's not
Productive.
productive, right?
Yeah.
Now you
That's right.
have two people that are trying to have a battle of ego rather than
Hmm.
trying to truly find the best way forward, which is so important. That's what we all want to
Yeah.
do. We want to come and find the
Totally.
best way forward so that you can progress. So if you can take that away and somebody yells at you and tells you something, if you could say, "Okay, let's remove my emotions really quick."
And be
Should
tactful. There's a
be tactful.
tactful way of doing these things.
Totally, there's a tactful way, yeah.
Yeah.
So then you can say, yeah, objectively, yeah, I should have been looking that way. You're right. Hey, Tyler, my
Hmm.
bad, dude. I won't let him bunker you like that again. Actually, you
Yeah.
know what, Ty? It's a great
Even though
look.
I'm bleeding. I'm
Yeah,
bleeding.
this has happened with me and you quite a bit because I mean we've
Yeah.
been teammates for so long. Of course, it's
And
going to happen.
and it's helped
But
us become the best teammates, the best friends, on and off the field. It's changed our complete interaction and how we live life.
absolutely. Like we have to
Yeah.
be able to communicate with each other in really intense environments. Like,
Yeah.
again, you get bunker. I wish I could remember the exact story, but this happened pretty recently at a practice.
Yeah,
I think
it
you
was
did
it
get
was one of the
bunkered.
last, yeah,
Yeah.
one of the last practice.
And like you yelled at me and I didn't receive it well. I was like, well, dude, you should have protected yourself. I
Yeah.
forgot what I said, but I
And
had
then
a
we both thought
response.
about it. We're like,
Yeah.
we're both kind of in a gray area here. So
Totally. We both were
yeah.
like, okay, hey, look, you know what? Here's what actually needed to happen. Let's
And
let's
how
be
can we
objective
boost?
about it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So even though we're obviously very aware of it, we talk about it, we preach it, we
Yeah.
try our hardest to be aware of like detaching yourself, and we don't get it right majority
Mhm.
of the time. But again,
Mhm.
I think that's part of the process. The very first
That's
step
it,
is
man.
recognizing when you're
Mhm.
making a mistake in your mindset. When you're making
Yeah.
a mistake with your mentality and your mind's not in the right place and you're letting the ego
Yeah.
get involved and you're not being receptive to true objective
Yeah.
criticism that is going to help you be a better person
And
on and
that's it
off the
right there.
field, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the key right there is just taking, what might sound like an attack and turning it into an opportunity to boost. And that's really what we've done on Dynasty and we preach is just boost. There's no other option. We got to boost all the way through this. We got to be like a train, like Rusty says, one speed all the way to the goal, set the intention and boost because all that other nonsense is just going to drag everyone down. Because then you got guys who, instead of focusing on the game at hand, now are listening to your guys' conversation and they're getting drawn in, and you got this whole storm that's starting to brew. You got to just detach from it. Let's be progressive. Let's boost. What can we pick up from it and keep moving and keep it fast. Don't waste any energy.
Yeah, Ty.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree so much, and it's again, this whole episode was meant to be about mindset for a
Yeah.
reason, and paintball is something that Tyler and I have talked about numerous times as to how it relates to real life, right?
Yep.
That's the biggest thing about this game to me is, I always try to promote the sport and I think businesses, 500 employee businesses, they should be going out for weekends at the
Oh
paintball
yeah.
field because it teaches so much, as far
Yes,
as
it does.
team building and believing in a game plan and executing a game plan, even if like you
Yeah.
might not quite trust it. Look, your role
Yeah.
is very important. You might have to
Absolutely.
go to the can and shoot cross 12
Yeah.
pods and just keep someone from moving. And it might be boring, but that's a very important part of the game plan.
Yeah.
Conversely, your job might to be run to the snake every game on the break, but we need you to
Mm-hmm.
do it,
Mm-hmm.
and every
For the
person plays
collective. Yeah.
for the collective,
Yeah.
every person plays a very important role in the collective part of the game plan.
Yeah.
And it really translates to real life skills, like that's what life's all about is finding, okay, how can I bring what I'm really good at, what I'm best at to a group and make the group better,
Yeah.
right? Like how can we do that? And it's again, mindset, right? You
Mindset and
have to
work. You got to be
mindset and
diligent.
work.
Yeah.
Totally. Definitely got to be
Absolutely.
diligent. Yeah, you got to like nonstop. Like you said, like Rusty says, you're right. Like a
Yeah.
train. If your goal is to get to a certain destination,
Yeah.
you just got to set the speed, set the tempo, and continue going no matter
Get
what.
to it.
I think right now mindset is so incredibly important because so many people are going through some
Yeah.
crazy hardships. I mean, again, we talked about it, Ty, in the first and second episode.
Mm-hmm.
All the work that I've had canceled in the
Yeah.
last 6 weeks, it is difficult. It's not easy,
That's a
that's
lot
for
of money,
sure.
man, and it's crazy right now, and thankfully we're going to be getting back to it. But it's been testing, and everybody just stay strong out there. It's going to be okay, I promise. We're going to have to navigate new territories, but it's just part of the game, huh? Play the game.
Yeah, no, it is, and like I'm really lucky that I don't. Well, it depends on how you look at it, but I don't have a wife and kids and stuff that I have to
Yeah.
take care of and tend to.
Hmm.
That's not on my plate. So at the end of the day, I got to worry about myself and take care of myself, and that's much easier than majority of Americans or forget Americans, people in the world,
Just
just
yeah,
citizens
yeah,
of the globe.
yeah.
Citizens of planet Earth are going through
Hmm.
some real tough times right now. They don't know if they're going to be able to feed their kids. They don't know if they're going to be able to keep a roof over their children's head. And that's something that is not taken lightly. That's way bigger than anything I can imagine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's
look,
unreal.
again, It's mindset, because, through these times, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and be really negative and totally upset about everything that's going on? And are you going to blame everyone around you? Are you going to blame the president? Are you going to blame China? Are you going to blame the WHO, World Health Organization? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to point fingers elsewhere, or are you going to look inward and say, okay, you know what? This is what I'm presented with. What am I going to do
Yep.
to respond? Just like
The
in
opportunity.
sports.
Yeah.
Just like in paintball, what are you going to do to
Yeah.
respond? Someone bunkers you and wins a point. What are you going to do to respond? Straight up. Are you
Run
going
them
to come
down.
back to the next point? Are you going to run them down, or are you going to go hide in the pit? What are
Yeah.
you going to do? Are you going to go and
Yeah.
hide the next point? Or are you going to go and try to get in their face and show them what's up?
Yeah.
That's what it's
Yeah.
all about, man. Play the game, 100%.
There you go. Get in
But
there.
straight up, these times, look, this podcast again got started because of these times.
Yeah.
It's something we've wanted to do, and there's a lot of separate ventures that I personally have gone on because of these times, and maybe some of them aren't as ideal. Like, would I prefer to be traveling on a plane to Barcelona for the
Oh
first
man, of
European
course.
event of the year? Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Life the way I knew it was great. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. I loved what
I
I was
mean, just
doing.
think about it. A few months ago, we were like, this is the best life has been ever. I think this is like, it doesn't get
Yeah.
much better than this. And then in the blink of an eye, boom, immediate, just, it just happens that fast. You can't explain it, but that's why the mentality that we're talking about comes into play here. No matter what is going on, staying strong and staying focused, and staying productive and diligent and working hard, even when the chips are down, that's when it matters most. That's when you got to go for it.
Yeah, Ty, you're right. That is when it matters most. It's a big thing about character. It's so easy. It's
Yeah,
easy. Easy is the right word. It's so easy to have good character when things are easy. It's
totally.
it's a piece of cake. It's a cakewalk, right? It's
Cakewalk.
easy. It's
Where's the
easy
cake
to
at?
it's easy to have a good attitude when everything's going your way. It's
Yeah,
easy to be positive when your team's making shots,
yeah,
and it's easy to boost each other when things are going well.
yeah,
True character is always going to be tested when things are not going well. That's when
yeah.
your character is going to be exposed. Is it strong, or is it
Hmm.
flimsy? Is it going to fall apart, or is it going to rise up and try to bring the best out of yourself and the people around you? That's the
Yeah.
true definition of strong character.
That
And it's
I
it's
want to see.
only
Sorry, go ahead.
no go it's only highlighted when things are tough. So again, in these times is when you have to remember that and say, okay, I got to really navigate through some of these times and try to rise above
Yeah.
and bring out the best of myself and the people around me.
Absolutely, man. That's hitting the nail on the head, man. And we got to make it a. I want to see everybody out there who plays paintball. Instead, when you feel like getting mad, boost somebody. Like if you feel like you're gonna go that way and get pissed off, just say something nice. Just be like, "That's a great pack," or like, "Man, good move on the other side. I just got bunkered, but that was good over there." Or
Wait,
like,
that's
just
funny because you do that.
I know.
You do that often, and I laugh because everyone in the
Yeah.
world, anyone who's around can tell how mad you are. But you say like a smart, funny
Yeah.
response, like, "Oh, it's a great move there," but Marcello, you let me get bunkered. But it's.
But taking the opportunity, we all, like I said, we're humans. We have emotion. It's a beautiful thing. We're humans, man. You have a 1 in 200 trillion chance of being a human. You could have been a rock or a tree or some piece of dust or something, but you're a human and you're here and you have emotions. That's beautiful. But just let's work on, boosting each other on the paintball field and in life. When you feel like getting mad, say something nice, do a nice gesture, flip the script on everything, turn it on its head. We've become far too predictable and we're getting played out here. So let's start playing the game and making things flip on their head.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean,
Yeah,
look, again with mindset too, it's like you got to understand how being goal oriented, right? It was
totally.
like two.
That's it, man.
It was like 2 weeks ago, I think, where we said, "Hey, we should start a podcast." We've been talking about it for a while. Now it's time.
Yep.
So, like, okay, let's get on a phone call and let's start laying out
All
the
the
direction
pieces.
we want to go and all the pieces. We got
Hmm.
on a phone call and we started laying out. Okay, here's what we need to do. Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom. Big list. 10, 15
And it's
pieces. We split
it's
it
not
up and
easy. There's a
no,
lot of we're still not done.
No, not even close, but
Yeah,
that's how it goes with anything you want to do. You need
that's
to
the fun.
you need to have the clarity and the mindset. And again, we're going to keep tying this back into mindset because
Yeah,
mindset is something, we'll say it again, to Tyler and I are so incredibly important, and something that
it's the
I
cornerstone.
just it's a cornerstone.
Hmm.
I truly believe it is the foundation of every successful person in the world, whether it's sports or
Yeah,
business, relationships, no matter what it is, it's their mindset. It's how they approach every situation, and it's how they deal with the stuff that is thrown at them. First and
hmm,
foremost, what is their mindset? And the mindset kind of paints how
yeah,
every single piece is going to come out. So whatever happens to them, it all gets dealt with in a similar way, and that all comes back to your mindset. And it's with us in sports,
absolutely.
it's sports and business. It's again, here's my goal, here's what I want to do. I'm going to do whatever I can to make it happen. If negative stuff happens along the way, maybe you just started a business. Maybe some of our listeners out there just got a new job, just started a new business, just got on a semi-pro team, whatever it is.
Congratulations, by the way, to you guys, man. Seriously.
Congrats. Yeah, 100% if that's the case.
Now
But
work harder.
work harder. But, hey, look, imagine that's the case. But then this coronavirus happens. COVID
Yeah,
19 comes through and puts everything on pause. Now your brand new business is, facing going under. Your semi pro team is no longer a semi pro team, or the
yep.
new job you got, you get laid off.
Which is
Those
very
are
real right now. Very
very
real.
real, very real, and true hardship, true adversity right there.
Yeah.
But you have two options. And I only look at it this way. You have two options. You can feel sorry for yourself and you could be really upset and say life's not fair. And you know what? I don't deserve this, and I'm just unlucky. And you know, I'm not going to look at things in a positive way because why should I? I got totally hosed. Or you can say, man, I was so close. But you know what? Okay, we have a little setback here. How can I use this time to further myself
It's
during
the
this time?
opportunity.
Make
It's the hidden opportunity.
Right.
That's what it is, man.
How can I make myself more valuable during this
Hmm.
time so that once all of these restrictions are lifted and everything's back to normal, I can
Yeah.
be more valuable to the people around me, to my customers, to my teammates,
Yeah.
to my employer than I was before. Because if you do that, you're going to be ahead of the curve because I guarantee you majority of people are not doing that. So if you
Yeah.
can do
And
that, you're
that's
going to
true.
you're going to put yourself above the people around
Hmm.
you, and you're going to put yourself in position to succeed. And that's what it's all about. That's the mindset, is always finding a way to take whatever's thrown at you and making the most of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to do the work when no one's looking, man. It seems like people most of the time they work really hard when someone's watching them, but then you know you close the door and then they're sitting there watching TV or just staring at their phone for 9 hours in a day. You got to just detach. And the number one thing that I could say would be to focus on your health more than anything. I know that when I'm being healthy, it heightens my whole entire life experience with my family, with my teammates, with myself, and on this experience that we're in. When I do the workouts, when I do my breathing practices, which I think are very important, as corny as it sounds, and like as weird as people think that this whole breathing thing is, your blood needs oxygen, okay? And your lungs and the breath that you put into your body have tremendous power over the whole organism. So everything is functioning off the breath and the blood. Breathing is very important, and health overall. Eating good food, drinking good water, which I will not stop preaching. Just like Ryan, I know Ryan preaches about it. Ryan Greenspan has a whole video about drinking good water, and it's true. I know I can feel the difference when I'm drinking good water and taking really good care of myself. So, if nothing else during this quarantine time, make it a point to just be the healthiest version of yourself that you've been, or take up a book or do something that's going to, boost the system, get it going.
Yeah, damn, Ty, that's great advice. And just real quick to touch on water, yeah, because I agree, I'm the same way, and obviously, me, you, Ryan, we all play on the same team, and other guys on
Yeah.
Dynasty are all the same with water and food and nutrition.
Yeah.
It's always been a cornerstone of the team, but it's all about like high quality spring water is good pH levels, things like that.
Yeah.
That purified water is apparently not the best for you. For the listeners back home that are like, oh well, what's the good water? Tyler, do you
Yeah.
have any?
And well, I think, don't get me wrong, I think all water is good water. Water is life, right? I love
Water
water.
is
I,
life.
I wish I could just live in water all day. But I can't, unfortunately, not right now. So I do agree. I do try to drink spring water. I know that Crystal Geyser has really affordable spring water. That's what I choose to drink. It's not much more than purified water. Uh, I don't know if it's true or not. I heard somewhere that they can turn any muck or whatever into water by purifying it, and that kind of just spooked me a little. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna just drink the water that comes from the mountains. Like for some reason, I just pictured porta potty water getting cleaned or something, and then it's like in my bottle. I know it's probably not true, but that's just how my brain
Yeah,
works.
I think if I recall, and again, neither one of us are
No, and
nutrition
don't.
experts or anything like that,
Full
but
disclaimer:
yeah,
do not use any of our info for your whatever. It's just how we feel
no,
about.
it's
Yeah,
again, it's our personal beliefs and the way we choose to live, and
yeah.
we think that it's benefited us, so we'd like to
It
share.
has truly, truly.
But you know,
Yeah,
I think the whole thing with purified water is there's like an acceptable amount of chemicals and stuff that's allowed in it. Now it's a level that is below what should affect the human body, so the
yeah,
scientists say. But
yeah.
that's your decision to
Same
make. I
with the
mean,
cigarette. I
for
mean,
me, like
uh,
I don't want any You're right. Same with the cigarette. I don't want any chemicals in my body. You know, if it's like below the C index, you know, you could have prescription pills and things like that that are in your water, your tap
yeah.
water that people drink, things like that. So,
I
and
guess
you know, it's small amounts, but look,
mhm.
I just oh, go
Even
ahead.
if you're just gonna drink any water, it's better than soda or any of these other options. Like I'm just saying, water over everything. Water
Yeah, I
over all.
agree.
Like
I
you
agree.
are a if we take it scientifically, you have a pH scale, acidic, base. There's neutral in the middle, and you don't want to be drinking a lot of acidic things. Sodas, coffee. I drink a little bit of coffee, but I try not to drink a ton of it because it's acidic, and it does things to the cells. Acid does things to the cells of our body.
Well, cancer thrives in an acidic environment.
Yeah. So
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 that's a
water
big one
over
for me.
everything. That's my
Yeah.
whole thing. That's my mantra is just if I have an option, water all day. And then the exercise is huge. I know that we're still working out, finding creative new ways to stay active, doing workouts in home, at the park, doing plyometrics, jumping, sprints, and all that kind of stuff, and just staying active. And it's fun I got my two little boys, so we go out there and have some fun running around, and make the most of these times that have been pretty crazy, to say the least.
Yeah. No, Ty, I agree. I couldn't agree more. I actually don't even have anything to add to that whole bit
Yeah,
because you hit all the nails on the head. But one thing that it kind of makes me think about is your mindset when you go into games because you're one of the
yeah,
more polarizing players in the league. And I've seen it firsthand, the
yeah.
intensity that you have right before a match.
Uh-huh.
How does that do you prepare this is a real question, I've never asked you this before. Do
hmm
you ever gear up for real life situations the way you do for a paintball match?
When I crawl under houses, yes.
Okay, explain
I
to
just take
people.
that. So I've been inspecting houses for wood destroying organisms, which is like dry rot. There's different types of funguses that eat your house, essentially break down the wood, and obviously termites, and there's beetles and all these different things. So I've been licensed in the state of California for about 8 years, and I actually just got licensed out here in Arizona. I don't even know if you know
Nice.
that. I
Yeah,
so
no,
I
I
just
didn't.
recently went and I am licensed under the Department of Agriculture out here in Arizona for doing these structural inspections for the banks. They all need them for the loans and all that kind of stuff. So my mindset is the same as when I'm gearing up because I wear HK Army pads every day of my life. You know what I'm saying? When I gear up to go under, I'm always in game mode. I'm always ready to
Oh
go
man,
because
that's
that's how I
great.
approach every single day crawling under houses. So
So you wear
it's a
your HK Army pads to crawl under houses for termites.
yes, sir. Absolutely. I
I
wear
love that.
HK Army pads every day of my life. Literally. Thank you, HK Army, for saving my elbows and saving my life. Shout out to HK. Buy HK all day.
That's so
But yeah,
funny. That's
it's that
hilarious.
mindset. Like my dad really he's a military officer. He was a Ranger Airborne. So he has a really strong mindset. And my mom, she's from Santa Cruz. She's like a hippie. She's flower power and the 70s and 80s in Santa Cruz, which is crazy. So I have the juxtaposition of two polar opposite people that I was downloaded with, my whole upbringing. So I got my militant minded, logic, strict, dad. And then I got my free flowing flower of life, beautiful mother who just gave me all the love that a mother could ever give a son. And truly grateful for both of them. They are the best parents. So my mentality is really just, I have a flipped switch when I go into paintball. I flip that switch and I'm a Taurus, so I just see red and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go and get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been in the game a long time, and the only other person is really Oliver that has that kind of infectious personality, in my opinion. Just
And
like it's
I
not something you
mentored
can.
under him for so long, like
Yeah.
for
Right.
years and years and
Right.
years playing with we won a lot of world championships together too. And, the series title and World Cup. And, we won a lot of tournaments together. And that dude is so miraculous. I mean, when you put a paintball gun in his hand and, get him fired up and get him looking in all of his teammates' eyes, the way that we all, get that fire in our soul before a game, it's miraculous. It's unexplainable what kind of energy just permeates out of these huddles. It's surreal. It's not even it's transcendent. I don't even know where it comes from, but there's something else is happening in these huddles. And it's magical. Crazy things happen, and with the drive and the mentality and the grit and the perseverance that when we all come together we can create is a really amazing thing. And that's what's so infectious about paintball is those moments, right? We all know those moments. You felt them, and you go out there every weekend searching for them. And that's why we started this, to grow those moments, to get more people playing the game and just keep having fun with paintball, because it's timeless when you have those types of things happen.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, we had uniquely separate, similar upbringings.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Very, very young professionals in the game. Both played for legendary. How funny is this?
Yeah,
Actually, we never talked about this. So my first pro team was the Ironmen. Your first pro team was Bob Long's Oakland
Oakland is.
Assassins.
Yeah,
But Bob Long was the
they
Ironman.
were. That's right.
Yeah, they were the same team like
Yeah,
5 years before that. Not even that
that's
long.
right.
So
And then, like,
the
I always looked up to Shane Pistana and do to this day.
right. Oh
And
yeah, Shane's the
like,
man.
I still would be, I always would be watching the Ironman and watching what Shane's saying, like, little young kid just trying to pick up
Yeah,
knowledge anywhere I can. And then we had Bob Long too, who is my coach and just super legend. He's like a bear. There's all these stories of him, like just like crazy stories you
totally.
can't even
Yeah.
believe.
Bob Long is the
Yeah.
absolute legend in the game, and Shane
Yeah.
Pistana too. Talk about mentality.
Yeah.
Shane Pistana is somebody who taught me so much about a winner's mindset.
Yeah,
It was.
man.
I mean, you couldn't play that guy a game in tic tac toe and get away with like if you beat him, he's going to make you play again, and then he's going to talk shit the whole time too.
Yeah.
Like his
Shout
mindset
out to
is really.
Shane, man.
Shout out to Shane. Shane was such a
Yeah.
big influence on my life. Again, so when
Yeah.
when I turned pro on the Ironman when I was 15, it was under the wing of Shane Pistana and Oliver Lang. There was a bunch of other legends on the game too, or in the game, that were on the team that were amazing role models and things like that. But really, Shane Pistana and Oliver Lang were the two that I just was enamored with. I looked up to everything they did. I was totally mesmerized by their mentality and their mindset in their everyday life, how they approached everything, whether it was like how they were going to treat
With
people
tenacity, man, to
yeah,
win.
totally. Absolutely. It was how they treated people, how they treated themselves, how they treated their teammates, what they expected of other people, what they expected of themselves, what they
Yeah.
expected of the group, the standards that they set, the
Mhm.
bars that they raised. It was all stuff that I saw as a young kid and went, man, that's how you become a
Mind
champion,
blowing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's what you need to do. You need to, first of all, you need to expect that stuff of yourself. And that comes from your own mindset. You need to expect greatness of yourself no matter what you're doing. And then you need to find a way to bring that out of the people around you so you guys could get to it, because you need a collective group to do it. You can't do it
Yeah.
by yourself.
That's
You need
right.
people to believe in you and your cause and your program, whatever it is. to get, your business to get to the next level. So yeah, it was, growing
For
up
the
around
pile,
those
man.
two.
Do it
Yeah,
for
for
the
the pile,
pile.
do it for the
We always
pile.
say that in Dynasty. We would go, get your hands in the pile, boys. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is for the pile. And then it's just this funny thing that we've been doing. But it's true, man. It's for all those hands in that group together. It's for all of us on this planet. We got to start thinking bigger. If I was an alien watching Planet Earth, it'd be an exciting show. I'd be like, wow, look at these guys. Let's
A bunch
let's
of
uh
cuckoos.
let's harmonize. Yeah, it's time to drop all the BS and start just coming together, because you can't last any other way. There's no way to last. There's no longevity in that.
Well, I agree, Ty. And actually, look, we're being shown that right now more than ever. Before COVID-19, I think people forget and people like to segregate. And,
Yeah,
it's, can we make our country the best, or is that country the best? Look,
yeah.
something that is organic and comes from
I'm
the
with the
planet.
human country. The human
Exactly.
country,
Something
baby.
that is organic and from the planet can just come through and take out the entire human race. And the only way to
Unbelievable,
beat
man.
it right now is we all have to work together. And I think that
That's right.
that's actually some major beauty in what's going on. Is I really hope we come out of this and
Absolutely.
realize, look, we have to work together on a larger scale to overcome these pandemics and to make sure we're prepared for these kind of things. We need to communicate better. We need to work together more. We need to be on the same page, and we need to really have just a larger sense of community, because that's what it comes down to. You
Yeah.
look at some people. There's a lot of people right now. You'll go into work. You look at people on the front lines. They're risking their lives right now going into work
Yeah, thank you so
for
much to everybody out there who's at the grocery store, at wherever you work. You're out there working right now. Thank you. Seriously. Truck
hospitals,
drivers, I mean,
cops,
everybody.
truck
Yeah.
drivers, meat industry. If you're part of what's keeping society moving right now, I consider
It's
that, like you're there. You're on the front lines in a sense.
absolutely. They
Um,
are
yeah,
100%.
and
Yeah.
and it's the sense of community that it's kind of brought in is really unique, and I really hope we can build off of it. And
Yeah. Well, there's
again, like
no other way. There's no
I
other way. You can't, it's not a sustainable system unless we do that. And it's going to take people in communities around the country and around the world being pillars for these types of things that we're talking about, pillars for humanity, in all the right ways, because there are false idols as well. And you have to be weary and navigate some pretty
right,
wild stuff.
exactly,
So you
exactly.
have to, build something that's very hard to build, and it takes a lot of work and effort, but the reward is the gold, right? That's when you have the magic happen. That's when you have the miracles happen, and the beauty is through that heart-centered work, and
Mhm.
it's possible. It takes work, just like everything does, and it's going to take
Mhm.
time.
Yeah, Ty, I agree.
Yeah.
Dude, what kind of, because again, so I'm sure a lot of our listeners are part of a group that's going through a really tough time. Whether it's field owners, I
Yeah,
feel especially bad for field owners right now.
I know,
No
man.
paintball being
Jeez.
played, and there's
Yeah.
not many fields that these field owners, they're likely not multimillionaires. The very successful fields are doing decent, but
Yeah.
they're struggling big time, and that's such a core building block of our sport. If there's no paintball
Yeah.
field, there's no paintball. It's
It's kind of hard. Yeah.
pretty easy to
It gets hard to
understand.
play.
So, I really feel for them. What's your advice right now through this time to like field owners, paintball players that are going through a tough time as far as
Yeah,
mindset? Like what should they be, what should their mindset be
absolutely.
during this time?
For field owners, just staying connected with your community and letting them know that you are there and you are fighting to get this thing opened as soon as possible for them. Keeping a clear line of contact, or communication, and then also, like, there's fields in California. I know that Extreme Paintball is opening up in Modesto. They're going to be opening. I think next week they plan on opening, and there's strict guidelines that you have to follow. So in these moments, what field owners can be doing is giving their customers the guidelines, and updating everybody on what paintball is going to be like shortly, because it is coming back shortly, and we are going to have things up and running soon. The parameters of how you get a rental marker are going to be different. The parameters of how you stage are going to be different. The parameters of how we start the games are going to be different. Really, we need information. We need information overload from our fields, from our stores, letting them know the new parameters of how they're navigating this, and just staying in contact with the people that that you care about and who care about you so much, and just keeping that communication open.
Yeah. Yeah, Ty, I
Yeah,
completely agree. Just to add
totally.
on to that, you pretty much hit all the spots. But again, I want to put emphasis on the importance of gaining consumer trust. Because
Yeah.
that's what it's going to be all about. Again, we talked about this
Oh
briefly in
yes,
the first
yes,
episode, but it's
absolutely.
like, you know,
It's
I think
huge.
I think paintball players are going to be just ready to get back in action. I don't
Oh
think they're going
man,
to be too
people are
worried,
itching.
but
My phone is blowing
but
up.
yeah, totally. But
Yeah,
still, like, there's going to be people, especially on the rec side. I think if I was a field, I would be really trying to push to the rec side. Hey, these are the safety, like you said, these are the safety
totally.
precautions we're taking. We're incredibly safe, and paintball, like we already said, is in a
Yeah,
really good position for social distancing.
we're
And
lucky.
we are, because again, it's not a sport. We're not passing a ball. Like, I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm pretty certain that the basketball court at LA Fitness is going to be closed for a long time. I can't imagine they're going to let people play when they open the
No,
gym.
gyms are going to be out for a little bit.
Well, gyms will come back. Gyms will come back
Yeah.
first, but the basketball court won't. That
Oh, is
they
that
won't be
right?
able to.
Okay.
Yeah, they won't be able to manage that. Gyms are part of the, like, phase one opening.
Oh,
They're
wow,
just
good.
they're
Okay.
just gonna have to limit capacity. So
Yeah, totally.
the crews, I'm sure, in the gym are gonna be following everyone around and wiping down machines nonstop, and stuff like that. And they're gonna limit how many people are in at a time, of course. But there's no
We're in a
way that
muscle
basketball.
crisis right now. That's what this
Yeah,
is. People
muscle.
can't.
Hey, wait, have we checked in on Scott Kemp?
Oh, yeah,
Is
Scotty.
is
Yeah,
he is he going to be okay without the gym?
I
He's
know,
been doing.
dude. His muscles fell right off. They're gone.
Oh man, Scotty. No, he's
Dude, he's been
actually, we
shredding
talked about this too.
still.
He's been shredding, dude. He's shredding,
Yeah,
and he's doing
yeah,
those live events on the Dynasty Facebook page.
that's right.
Workouts with him
Tune in.
have been really good, so definitely tune in there. But no, it's going to be all about these paintball fields gaining the trust of the consumer again, and I think
Hmm.
the way they can do that is by truly just
Above and
promoting
beyond.
the ways that they are keeping things clean, especially the rental gear, making sure that they are implementing social distancing in their staging area, and
Yeah.
you can do it. You can definitely do it. It's going to be
Just
hard,
do
and
it from your car. You can
you
still have fun with your boys, park next to each other, or your
right,
girls,
right.
whoever goes out, and have a good time. Just being parked next to each other, and that way you guys aren't all huddled up at a table, and it's safer.
Yeah, I hate when everybody comes and puts all the bags on the table and there's no space. I like gearing out of the trunk of my car anyway. That's I always
Yeah,
roll it to
that's the
practice.
move for
Gears,
sure.
that's the move.
Yeah.
So no, there's so many ways that we can make paintball work and make paintball parks, help paintball parks open up again soon. And I hope
Yeah.
that the players are ready to rejoice for this opening day. We talked about it in one of the previous episodes. I forget if it was one or two, but again, opening
Yeah.
day is crucial,
Yep.
and we want people to come out and support these fields. So
Yeah.
fields,
Hashtag opening day when you go
yeah,
out and play
totally.
and take a photo.
Totally.
Yeah.
And these fields, I really want the owners to keep the positive mindset that paintball is going to come back, and
Totally.
relay that message to the consumer, to the players, to give them the confidence that, like you said, Tyler, the fields are there, they're working, they're doing everything they can behind the scenes to make sure they're ready to open when restrictions are lifted and when they can
Yeah.
get back to work, so that
Yeah.
players are ready in whatever region you're at. Players are ready to come back out, have some fun with their friends, get some practice in with their teammates. I hope,
We need it,
I'm going
man.
to,
People need it. They
we
need it
need
right
it.
now more
Yeah.
than ever. We need
Yeah.
paintball.
Yeah. I want to run around and shoot my gun
Yeah.
too.
I
And,
know.
and that brings me up, I hope pros across the nation, across the world, actually go to their local field and just jump in with,
Support, man.
with
Support it all.
whoever it is. Yeah, totally. So.
Yeah, it's all one love for paintball, man. We got to boost all forms of paintball. If you hear that there's a big game and you're one of the top guys in your area from a divisional team or a pro team, doesn't matter. Go out there and support paintball, all forms of it. Let's bond together and boost all paintball.
Ty,
And
who's
then
somebody?
go ahead.
No, you go ahead, because I'm
I was
about to
just going to
segue into
say,
something else.
there's just such a unique thing about paintball right now that we are so fortunate that our sport is one of the few sports that is able to navigate these times with what's going on with the virus. A lot of things are not going to be able to have the same bounce back, but if we come together, we can really bounce back and have a strong paintball scene. I mean, I don't see any reason that there wouldn't be just as strong of a paintball scene after this whole thing is done. You know, as long
Yeah.
as you can still get the paint and you have your gear, we should be able to get out there and have fun.
Yeah, I really hope people are more excited than ever to get outdoors. And I think there's so much about paintball that instead of going to the movie theater or an arcade or something like that, do people still go to arcades?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Dave and Buster's still a thing, and arcade. Uh,
Yeah.
hopefully, people want to go play paintball because again, it's outdoors. It's a safer way, if you will.
Great
Um,
exercise, man.
it is, and
Paintball
it's
is the
great
best.
exercise. Yeah, paintball's fantastic. But
Yeah.
Ty, I want to try to, we keep going off on tangents, which is amazing. I
Hmm.
love our discussions, but
Yeah.
I do want to get back with a little bit of mindset because I have someone in
Absolutely.
mind for myself. But for you, who's somebody that you really looked up to growing up as far as mindset goes? Because again, I just can't stress enough the importance of mindset. I talk about it even in my clinics when I'm there just teaching paintball. I try my hardest to relay
Yeah.
the message of how important it is to have the right mindset and how to
Yeah.
be able to overcome obstacles, right? Who was
Yeah.
someone that inspired you growing up and why,
Um, Yeah, it would have to be Riley Sullivan from
Wow.
Oakland Assassins. He's just one of the he's a Taurus just like me, so stubborn, bullheaded kind of guy, and he is one of the hardest working dudes I've ever known. When it comes to paintball, he really applies himself and digs deep to make sure that he's at the peak of his performance when he shows up to a tournament, physically and mentally. One of the hardest working gunfighters I've ever met. We would just do one-on-ones relentlessly after our Oakland Assassin practices. It would typically be like me, him, and a few other people or whatever, and then it would always be me and him ending it out pretty much because he just never stops. And I was young and just wanted to keep grinding, so I was always just duking it out with him. But he always inspired me to go the distance and just be the best paintball player I can be. And not be afraid to get shot, not be afraid to lose or make the wrong move. Just feel it, have the flow state, and take those opportunities. And if you fall, good. I'm glad you fell because now you know what to do right. You know what I mean? Now you know how to navigate that type of terrain, and just not be afraid. Be in a flow state and just go for it. He's amazing. Shout out to Riley Sullivan. He's a CHP officer actually in California right now.
Yeah, wow. Major shout out to Riley. It's funny you bring up Riley. Riley is well, he was a phenomenal player and he was someone that I always admire. I always really loved his style of play because he was such a great
Yeah,
gunfighter. But dude, it's so funny. A lot of people don't know that about Riley, right? But I just posted a video on my Instagram the other day from a one-on-one in
oh yeah.
Vegas. We were in the finals. It was my
I
first
remember
tournament
that.
with Dynasty.
Yeah.
And we were in the overtime point in the final, so 3-on-3 overtime point. It comes down to a 1-on-1 with me and Riley Sullivan, and his
Oh boy.
nickname used to be
Snapshot.
Snap
I gave
Soli.
him that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I gave him that nickname.
yeah,
Snapshot Sully.
and I when I beat him in the 1-on-1, like that heightened the whole thing for me because
For
again, you're
sure.
right. Like Riley is, dude, he's insane 1-on-1 player, insane gunfighter.
Best
That's what he
style
was
too.
known
Like
for.
it's such a good style of paintball. Like there's a few
Yeah.
paintball players, him, Gator, like they're just like cornerstones of like stylish paintball, and he's one of
Yeah,
them.
100%. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that was a great win. We won the tournament
Yeah.
off of it, which is huge.
Let's
But
go, Dynasty. Woohoo!
yeah, DYNAST.
Why? And shout out to Riley. Like he is just such a badass dude. Hopefully he's doing good over there. I saw him actually recently, and he's got all of his kids and his beautiful wife, and they're doing great over there.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but look, it's so good
What
to
about
have.
you, Marsh? Who
Yeah,
would be the player that you would have modeled your passion and mentality after,
yeah. Okay, so player. So my question was just like people in general,
or
right?
person? Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
person. So, I've had so many influences in my life that I've taken pieces that I really admire and try to mold this picture of what I want to be myself, right?
Yeah,
My dad was huge as far as like how I treat people and how I approach
yeah.
negativity and
That's
things like
the
that.
best dad. Yeah.
And, yeah,
Shout
and
out to his dad.
100%. But then after that, when it came down to mentality, as far as like, really getting gritty with certain things, Oliver has to be that guy because again, he just was
Of course.
around, when I was 13 years old, I was on Aftermath playing against Dynasty every weekend, and Oliver Lang at the time was Oliver Lang.
Yeah.
And obviously, there were so many other guys. Obviously, you have Ryan, Yosh, Alex, Danny Tiljak. I always bring up Tiljak because I think he was just kind of
Oh yeah.
underrated, but he was
Solid.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Perchek, all the guys. So Oliver was at the height of paintball. He was the tip of the spear. He was the one that was transcending the game from being a hobby to being a real professional sport. He was,
Yeah.
the first to get a really big contract, 5 years, $100,000 a year to, go over the Ironman. And he was somebody that I was in close contact with from a young age. And so I just watched from afar at first, when we'd practice against them, and I admired his personality. Again, you could tell just by being around him, not even directly communicating with him, you could feel something that he was giving off. And then when I got a chance to play with him on the Ironman, it really became apparent how he approaches everything and how he looks at stuff, whether it was something so simple as, again, we'll bring it back to, say you go to a smoothie place and you order a smoothie and the server is mean to you. He would like
Here's
find a
your
way to
smoothie.
he would find a way to make them laugh. Whereas like it could
Yeah.
also be so easy to be like, oh, what a jerk, and you're
Yeah.
upset. But
You
instead
gotta
he would
have fun
find
with it. You gotta bob
totally.
and weave.
And I know that that's such a, I love that, bob and weave. But like that's such a small example, but it really is powerful actually. It's really transcendent to everything you do. And that's such a, it sounds like a funny
It's
little
the shift.
detail, but
It's the shift.
it is the shift. And
Yeah.
he was really the first person to really show me that in person and change the way I interacted with people. And, I always, I don't like to give him too many compliments. He hears it enough, he knows,
He's
but
the GOAT, and
he's
there's no taking that away.
totally.
Yeah.
But when we talk and really get into conversations, I always make it a point to thank him for that because it's shifted so much of my mindset in life. And I just want to be able to share that mentality with other people because it's
And
so valuable.
that is so crazy that you hit on that, Marcella, because I think that's one of the most important things you could ever talk about is how delicate this whole experience and reality is, and little tiny shifts in your awareness or how you choose to navigate situations ripple out and create things that you, like, say instead of doing a kind gesture, you feed into that energy, and then you say something negative as well, and then you carry that energy out and you get in your car and then you're carrying that, and then you like wreck or something. I don't know,
No, you're
or you
100%
get
right,
in,
dude. Then you start speeding. Like this is
yeah, you
actually
start
backed
going,
by science. There is true
yeah,
science about this.
yeah.
When you
So
are in
it's
a
just a
heightened
little
state,
shift. Yeah,
yeah, when you're in a heightened state of like aggression or anger or bad feeling, you're going to drive recklessly. You're going to make poor decisions.
yeah,
You're running off of emotion rather than logic, and those kind of decisions can change your life absolutely.
yeah. And
But
just it feels so much better to just to transcend it. Say, okay, I love you
yeah,
too, man. I hope everything's gonna be okay,
totally, I
and just
agree.
keep moving forward.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
had Oliver as far as that stuff goes, but as far as
dude, I
sports
miss him.
go,
We got to get him on here.
we do got to get him on here. That'd be great to have the guy on here. I don't like to bug him. Can't you turn
Oh,
around? I
I'm
think
gonna
he's in.
bug him.
Isn't he in the
He's
woods
in the
behind you right
flower.
there?
He's right
You ever?
over here. He's in the
Again,
flower.
for people just listening, Tyler has a great background, but that's over on the YouTube channel if you guys want to check it out.
Yeah.
But beyond that, actually, one of my biggest influences of all time, and it does even go above what I feel Oliver has done for me, and I was getting into it, was Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, and I know that. I know
Growing
that, man. Yeah.
growing up as a big basketball fan, the Laker fan, was because of Kobe. I wasn't a Laker fan because of anything else. I was a Laker fan because of Kobe.
Tons of
Um,
love to his family and everything that they went through, man. That
yeah,
was tragic.
can't even imagine, man. I mean, I was in the gym when I got the news, and
Dude, I
I'm
still
in
remember. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm in a group chat with my older brother and his sons. My older brother is like 50 years old, so I have
Yeah.
nephews that are older than me, and there's like four of us. We're in a group chat, and it's called Lakers Nation, and we always have the argument Kobe versus LeBron, and all of us
Of
think
course.
Kobe, but my nephew, the youngest one, so my older brother's
Yeah,
youngest son, Mikey, he's a major LeBron fan, and
he's
like
holding it down.
it's just so funny because Kobe's so much better in so many ways, and we prove him wrong with all these statistics and this and that, blah blah blah, whatever, doesn't matter. But we're
Yeah.
always going back and forth, and we were literally having the discussion that morning, and all of a sudden I'm in the gym, and my older brother Mike calls me. Oh, sorry, let me rewind a second.
Yeah.
I'm in the gym and I'm taking a break in between reps, and I'm on Instagram. Kids, that's not what you should be doing when you're at the gym. You should be focused. But
Yeah.
whatever. I was on Instagram and I saw Gary V post
I
a
saw
pic.
that too.
It
The
was
heartbreak.
it was a picture of Kobe, and it said "Please no" was Gary's first
Yeah.
post, and I go, "What?" And so I was thinking, because Kobe does things on such a grand level, and I know Gary Vee's like a huge fan of the Jets. He's a huge sports fan.
Yeah.
I go, did Kobe just buy a football team and he's like his
Yeah, yeah,
competitor? Like that's what I thought first, is like
yeah.
that must be what he's thinking. And then my brother calls, Mike, and I see the name
Like
pop up.
immediately, right after that?
Immediately, yeah, literally, I was
Yeah.
looking at the picture. I was looking at the picture on my phone,
Wow.
and my phone rings, and my heart dropped. I don't know why, but I just knew. And my brother lives in LA. He's friends with some of the deputies that were actually on the scene, and
Jeez.
he
Oh,
goes,
man.
little bro, did you hear? And I go, what? He goes, Kobe died. I was just silent, devastated. What? This is real?
Yeah.
And so, okay, we're not going to get too
It
deep
gave me
into that. It
chills
was,
just
yeah.
getting into
I
that
mean,
because that guy has and we're on mindset here, the
right.
strongest mindset of any human, I mean, I've ever seen
Yeah.
on this earth, like
Ev-
for sports and just for his family.
I think everyone that believed in Kobe truly was just waiting for him to rise from the ashes, carrying his
Yeah,
daughter out of there, saying, "We're good, we're okay."
yeah.
Like that's
It's unreal. Yeah,
that's truly the mentality that he had, and he did that with every single thing he did, whether it was basketball or writing books or teaching kids or
yeah.
whatever business venture he was on. I truly believe he was going to transcend women's sports with his daughter. I think they were well on their
Oh,
way.
yeah. She was
Um,
dominating.
she was dominating, and she was likely going to become a top WNBA player. And the way
Yeah,
Kobe praised women's sports, I thought was beautiful. I
yeah.
thought it was amazing.
And
And
just one point, I love that so much, and I think we need to do the same thing in paintball. I think paintball is one of the prime sports for females to be participating in. It's
dude, I couldn't
it's
agree more.
we have not even accentuated that aspect of paintball and broadening it and breaking down all that kind of stuff and getting that
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. Females in the sport of paintball are amazing because the gun's a great equalizer for physical differences. So we can all play the
yeah.
same game, and they
And you
can
get to pelt
outsmart
us up.
us.
That's fun.
Yeah, totally. But look, that doubles our growth. If we can break
Yeah,
into, expanding, female paintball.
the
Look at the
marketing.
women's Team USA
Yeah,
team. There's a lot of ballers on there. There's some really
yeah.
good
Shout out to
ladies
USA
that are coming up and
women's
really,
team.
they're coming for it. And I like seeing that. Over in
Yeah,
Europe, there's a girl plays, well, she doesn't anymore. She retired from the team last year, which is a huge bummer. But she played on PP Arena. This girl
yeah.
from Czech, Nicole, I think is her name, Nicoletta, um, Nicola is her name, and
She's dominating out there, huh? Having
she's
a good time.
she's a dominator, dude. She is really good, and she's not really good for a girl. She's really good.
That's
Um,
awesome. And
we
then you get like she makes it pro or something like
right,
that, and then she's able to nurture a whole new growth. And
right.
you have all these new legs of people, playing the game that start blowing out, and you have way more development.
Right. Well, she was pro and she
Oh
dominated over
wow,
there. Yeah, in the pro scene, dude.
that's
I remember
amazing.
we
Wow,
poor Kyle. Last year,
you got her.
last year in practice,
Oh, get
she
out,
owned Kyle because she plays the snake. And we were playing with the Golden State Kings, and we
dude.
had a practice before the
That's
event.
awesome.
And I remember like 6 out of 8 points or something, she just kept beating Kyle in a gunfight, and Kyle would just come
Well,
back and he's
Kyle's a
like,
nice guy. He's a
it,
nice guy. He
Kyle was
wanted
like,
to.
she got me
No,
again,
I'm
dude.
just
No,
joking. She. I
she
already know.
she was
She's working
crushing.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was crushing. She's a good player, and so you're starting to see this. You're starting to
And
see
that was on Arena?
she played for PP Arena, again a
Nice.
team out of the Czech Republic. But
Dude, shout out to the Czech.
look, yeah, back to Kobe and his mindset in
Yeah.
everything he did. He truly was somebody that any piece of content he put out, any interview he did, I guarantee you I've seen it. And that's just always how I've been. Like his mindset and approach to the game, his attention to all of the little details was so fascinating to me, how he really broke down everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Like he
The
explained something,
simplest
and
detail,
yeah,
yeah.
in one of his books he explains he had a picture of Michael Jordan getting backed down by a bigger guard, a bigger player in his room when he was growing up. So this is before social media, obviously. This is like around when magazines were the only source of media. He had a big poster in his room, and it was a picture of Jordan, and he was using, for people that are listening to the podcast, I'm showing it in the YouTube video, but he's like putting his arm up on the back of the person backing him down. And
Yeah.
it was something that Kobe had struggled with at that time. He couldn't figure out how to stop bigger players from backing him down. He would try to use the perfect technique that was taught, but it wasn't working for him. And so he studied this picture of Jordan, and he realized that Jordan wasn't doing it in the traditional way. He had his own kind of way to make up for his size disadvantage. And
Yeah.
so Kobe actually became really good friends with the photographer of this poster
Oh,
because
nice.
because this poster meant so much to his game. It changed the way he looked at studying
Wow.
things.
Yeah.
Kobe brings it back to this picture. He says, "Look, this is the first thing that I really studied. I was a kid, 13 years old, maybe younger. I might have the age wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I would study this picture for technique. How were his calves tensed? What muscles were tensed in his forearm so I could see what he was using in his body to keep this bigger guy from backing him down?
Dang, that's crazy.
Where were his
Wow.
eyes looking? His attention to detail was just magnificent. And that translates to everything. I mean, everything I do, I break down. When we talked about this podcast, for example, it's like, okay,
Hmm.
what are all the little things we need to do to make this happen? What are all the things? How do we need to break this down? Okay, well, we need good sound. So how do we get good sound? Okay, we need to find good microphones. Okay, once we
Yeah.
have that, do we need like good audio? Oh, well, here's a
Just
good
chipping
idea.
away at
Why
it.
why don't we study the people that are doing it really well? Okay,
Yeah.
Rogan. There's some other people in the paintball industry that are doing it well. Study their stuff. That's the way we approach this, and again, that's mindset. That's my mindset. That's your mindset. It's our mindset. If we're ever going to do something, we take the same mindset that got us to where we got to in paintball, and we
Absolutely.
relate it to real life, which is great. Like paintball, that's exactly what we did. Growing up, I worked on all the little things. It was the
Yeah.
constant pursuit of progressing and becoming better at the sport by working on the little things, whether it was snap shooting with your left hand, running and shooting with your left hand, snap shooting with your right hand. No matter what it was trying to perfect your game so that you can, reach the next level.
Yeah,
That
spending a lot of
mentality.
time on the
Yeah.
field and just doing the work, man.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
there's no easy way to do it. You got to clock in and do the work, and it's fun. It's not work when it's fun. So you're out there having a good time, and like you said, the details are what make anybody good at any facet of their profession, right? The best architect in the world looks at a detail different than anybody else would look at it, and that's how they attained that level of success. Same for paintball, same for Kobe Bryant. You've got to really dive into the minute little details because when you add up every single one of those little details, it makes a completely new picture. It
Yeah.
changes everything. And that's the magnitude of, what Kobe did. And obviously, why we have you crazy monster with all your details. You're unreal. And it's what makes Dynasty strong, and the strongest that we can be is because when you start diving into details, Yo starts diving into details, Ryan's got his details, and we're all putting all this input together that creates a whole new picture for the where we're going to approach a match and the tournament for a whole.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a
Couldn't
beautiful
agree
thing,
more.
and
It is.
it's amazing what we can do if we choose to just dive deep and look at the details. You can transcend everything.
It's all in the details. Everything you
That's
do is
right.
going to be in the detail. The detail is the makeup of your actions. And
Hmm.
if you can learn to perfect that and fix things and, build off of things you do well and fix the things that you don't do well, that's what it's all
Yeah, and
about.
have
And it's,
fun with it. Totally.
yeah, 100%. Don't get discouraged. You guys, again, I think we're probably getting close to wrapping this up, but I just, it's a tough time. Everybody's going through a little bit of adversity, some more than others for sure, but your mindset really does need to remain strong. This is going to be the time where you're tested. This is the time where you're going to be challenged the most. Your character, your
Yeah.
belief in yourself, that's all going to be tested to the fullest right now.
Yeah.
And I,
Embrace it.
I, I think I can speak for
Embrace it.
both. Yeah, embrace it. I think I can speak for both of us. Tyler and I believe in you guys, and we want you to succeed. We want you to do well, and
Absolutely.
so keep
With
that
full
mind in
heart.
the right place, start focusing on things that you could do to, again, as I said earlier, make yourself more valuable when we get out of this quarantine. When you show up to the first weekend of practice, are you going to be a little out of shape? Are you going to be a little behind, or are you going to be crisp? Are you going to be better than you were before quarantine? Like that's going to be huge.
Absolutely.
I think that's going to be a whole nother episode too, is about like how to get noticed and work your way up through the ranks. But this is a great way, man, always show up, and just impress people by your hard work, through your hard work.
Embrace it. Embrace the opportunity. It's a huge opportunity for you. And that's what all these trying moments will be, is opportunities. And like I said earlier, take an initiative to do the healthiest things you possibly can for your body right now, because there's so many different things that are weighing against you in that regard, where you're at home, it's easy to just relax and maybe eat a little bit more, or, do those kind of, have a couple of sodas or maybe more coffee than you would. Just choose water, choose some good food, get some exercise, get some light, go for a walk, stay sharp mentally, stay sharp physically, and the physicality will actually boost the mentality as well. So when you are doing these things for your physical body, it's going to heighten your mentality and give you a brighter outlook on life as well. So really dive deep into that, and just have fun, embrace these opportunities that we've been placed in, pretty much.
Yeah, totally. We can't change it. Well, that's not fair to say. We can take action to change things, for sure.
Yeah, we can create, for sure.
But we can't pretend
Control
like this
everything.
didn't happen. We can't control things like this happening. So all we can do is control our mindset, our response, how we react to things, how we respond. And, the only thing that we can do is try to make the best moves moving forward. We gotta play the game that's been given to us, baby.
That's it, man. Play the game on and off the field.
And
that's huge too, because, these things are going to correlate to your paintball game. These different subjects that we went over, if you choose to incorporate them into your lifestyle, it will translate onto the paintball field. You'll have cleaner games. You'll have cleaner communication. You'll have cleaner moves. Everything will just start to have more clarity, and you'll be able to move more efficiently. And that's what doing these different types of things can have as a benefit in your life, on and off the field, when you're playing the game.
Yeah, totally. You do not want to be a player that gets shot. Oh man, we see this so much. It's horrible to see. You don't want to be the player that gets shot, blows up, runs into the pit, throws your gun, pushes your teammate. I mean, that's the end. You just forfeited, essentially. You forfeited, right? And I guarantee you that some of you listening right now have done it. Guess what?
Yeah,
I've done it. Tyler's done it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but
so
I've done it enough to know that it's not going to benefit in any way. So let's just boost through it and move through it.
You got to take it and say, okay, you know what? I didn't get that one. I'm going to fix the problem. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do better. And that is transcendent to life. All right.
Yeah.
Don't just blow up don't blow up when bad things happen. Take them, absorb them, feel the pain from it, observe it, recognize the way it's making you feel, and then make a plan of attack to overcome that shit. You know what I'm saying?
There we go, baby. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, Ty, what do you think?
Well, I think that it's another one in the books, and thank you guys all for tuning in. I mean, I can't even begin to describe to you guys how grateful Marcello and I are to have you guys here with us. We are so excited to be pumping out a bunch of content, all things paintball, cultural events, and personal development. We just want to have fun with the paintball community, and we just want to say thank you guys so much.
Yeah, baby, that's what it is. Thank you guys.
Yep.
See you soon.
Play the game. Let's go.
Play the game.